What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I want to review the singles off the reggaeton singer Baby Ranks' album. Basically, this product is called Me Flow, This Is It, and it came out. Basically, this album is called Me Flow, This Is It, and it came out in the summer of 2008. So basically, Baby Ranks had kind of had like a pseudo album before that with Moss Flow 2 by Looney Tunes producers as far as those pitches kind of happened. It was a pretty excellent type concept. That was a big deal in like reggaeton, Latin rap type culture around the mid 2000s type fare. Had some folks like Y-Son, E. Yundell, Daddy Yankee on there, just upcoming kind of talent that were affiliated with Looney Tunes as far as those pitches kind of happen. Look, after it's pretty good fare, I am going to get to that project, but I wanted to get to this one. This is like a bite-sized goodie to kind of get here that I wanted to see about. I noticed that I wanted to find some more folks apart from just like Daddy Yankee and Don Omar and typical fare, like some of those type folks, and Tego Calderon, some of those standard type fare, Y-Son, E. Yundell. I want to get past some of the main, more ubiquitous type ones, kind of see some more folks kind of in between. But the unfortunate thing about it is just the fact that Baby Ranks, now he might have dropped singles, just standalone singles without albums, but it seems like he hasn't really dropped an album since 2008, apart from maybe like one other one. I do kind of feel like Moss Flow 2 is kind of like a pseudo album from 2005, just within that relative type pitch, but it's just kind of the concept that he hasn't really put out terribly many projects. But this is a pretty excellent type one here, at least from the two singles. So it's a relatively brief type project, but it's pounding enough to be able to say I see him probably on like the same aspect. Seemingly from at least like the singles here, he's kind of like a blend in between like the fare of Y-Son, E. Yundell, and then Daddy Yankee, just within some of those type pitches. He has like some of the electronic type pitch like Pitbull. Like I think that was kind of what was more, I want to say that was what was becoming a lot more increasingly popular with, like as the late 2000s started to transform into EDM type sound with Pitbull and some of those type folks and more things like that. There is, like, I do feel like the song De Fuga is at least like that within the particular type pitch, but then I look after it like there is like another kind of pop rap. There is kind of like a pop rap radio grabbing like the song El Amor Se Fue, I'd have to say, just within the pitch. So it's a good concept there. El Amor Se Fue reminds me of Despacito, just kind of like a lesson, just kind of like a late 2000s type era, some of that kind of took over in like the mid-late 2010s as far as this pitch kind of happened. This is a relatively brief promoted product that has, say, just within the pitch behind it, just has a lot of excellent type fare, but I look after it. This is kind of like a bite-sized type review just because there's not a ton of promotion about it. I kind of feel like, if I had to guess, I'd probably say Baby Ranks is probably just like one of those cats that was just only around for like a couple of years, something like that. Probably like when you think of like a rap artist like like Bone Crusher or Lil Flip, some of those type folks that kind of had like their particular initial kind of quality years, but then kind of dissipated, or Chingy, some of those type folks just within the pitch, somehow some that particular kind of goes. But yeah, it's a pretty excellent type album, at least in the singles format. It's gonna get a rather high score, I'd have to say. So basically, I checked out Baby Ranks' YouTube as far as those pitches kind of happened to see if there was any other promotion for this particular product. Once again, he doesn't have a terrible amount of outings within the aspect of like the stuff that he's done, but at least there were two music videos. One was for De Fuga and the other one was for El Amor Se Fue, so I'm just going to talk about those two. So basically, De Fuga is like, in English this song means escapes. It's a pretty good pitch for that. It's like a jazzy kind of electro dance pounder, I'd have to say. It's kind of a mixture of like Pitbull's EDM with like Daddy Yankee's Boilers as far as those pitches kind of happen. Standard thump of like a song by Daddy Yankee like Gasolina or Rompe, one of those type ones, just would have to say, with like Pitbull's EDM that he was getting ready to do. The songs like Give Me Everything and some of those type ones off Armando and some of those type pitches that has a good excellent type fare. And this song definitely has the song's definitely pretty good boiler. The song's definitely pretty radio ready boiler, I'd have to say, and the song slaps pretty well, I'd have to suppose. And the lyric I liked off this particular song as far as those fares gonna happen is, I do like on the chorus that he says, Baby Ring says, I want to get lost with you, as far as those pitch kind of happen. So it's just real emphatic type one. This good type pitch kind of get from some of that commercial type bite. Just kind of feels like a conduit type song, just kind of blurring the lines between like the fare of like the standard dance boilers, the Daddy Yankee, just blurring the lines between the Daddy Yankee type bubblers that he had in like the mid and late 2000s to getting towards the more EDM type sound. So it's a good pitch, definitely quality highlight. Need to be another single like this. I'm surprised that Baby Ranks didn't have and try to promote more fare out this particular product, because I definitely think a second single just like this one probably would have been a pretty good damage as far as those pitches kind of happen. But I think maybe possibly he was just kind of an in-between type cat, but this was a good look around this time. But then El Amor Se Fue is the second single. This song in English means Why Did Love Leave? Excellent type fare for that. It's like a wafer-esque, and by that I just mean really vanilla, kind of romantic, kind of late-day commercial. kind of romantic, kind of late day commercial, kind of sunny radio grab to kind of get here. This is, like I was saying, this would probably be just like the excellent type fare of something like Despacito, just in a more late 2000s type pitch, as far as that would kind of happen with it. Just that sunny type fare, just kind of romantic evening, getting pasta, some of those type things, just standard disc type nest, just kind of real excellent 545, 615 type music just within the fare, just relative kind of orange skies a bit just within that standard type fare. Watch like a rom-com type fare to some of that sunny kind of kickback as far as those pitches will kind of happen with it. It's good summery kind of chill factor as far as those pitches kind of go. It's good concept. And one of the lyrics I like off this particular song that I felt like was a standout just to translate this to English was in the chorus, or the part of the song where he says, "Today my destiny won't go away." It's kind of within the pitch behind it. So it kind of has, I do like, it's a good pitch to kind of have that deep factor and be able to nail it just within the tone behind it. Good boo-booed up type song just within the pitch, but nails it just within a deep sense. So it's not quite as like this static. It's not quite as static and as singular as like De Fuga is, but I would have to say these are good 1-2 punch kind of get here. Now the thing about with this particular song, I do appreciate this song, but I'd probably listen to De Fuga just a lot more, and it also did leave me hungry for like more aspects of like some more singles to kind of get for like the tone of just being able to have some more turn up, just a little bit more kind of loosen up type fare, like a good song. Something I feel like this cat probably could have done. I just like the production fare on De Fuga quite a bit. I'd say a good song like some more Pitbull type fare, just some good ones to get some rump shakers and dance turn up type songs gonna get. I mean, I would probably have to say I think this album probably has some of that. I think with some of these Looney Tunes type productions on there, I would probably say it has some of those, but I think it probably needed, I would definitely say within the product of it, I think this album needed another single to kind of help bolster this project a lot further. I mean, just typical kind of fare, the spicy kind of turn up song, dance club song in the first single, and then the more kind of centered kind of romantic, kind of more romantic and kind of makeshift kind of down tempo type second single within the pitch. Just standard typical format, but I think it probably needed a little bit extra spices to help bolster this project further. It just kind of felt like this was an album that kind of maybe more so went through the motions, just kind of here for like a season, and then just you move on to the next couple projects of what kind of happens. You know, typical type fare, like I was saying, folks like Bone Crusher, Chingy, is standard 1 or 2 hit single type projects. I mean, Wikipedia doesn't even recognize the fact that this album had 2 singles within the pitch. It thought that the only single was De Fuga, but actually El Amor Se Fue was one that had a music video, so that one was attempted single as well. And that on Spotify has over 2 million plays on there, so it's a good pitch. But actually De Fuga only has like 140,000, so it's just kind of the pitch that just kind of in between. But yeah, it's kind of an in between type project. I do like what was going on here, but I do think it probably needs something to bolster it further. So in terms of score, I'm going to give the singles of this particular album, I would say me liking both these songs, though albeit in a more kind of just more hungry type aspect about it. I'd probably say I'm going to give this album like a 9.5 out of 10 just within the pitch. I mean, possibly even like a 9.25. I'll give it a 9.5 just because the quality of it is pretty thrilling, and this is like a good El Amor Se Fue is like a good makeshift type song kind of get here just within the pitch behind it. But De Fuga is probably like the best moment. I mean, it has the most bite. Now, De Fuga is definitely an excellent type moment, has a lot of good bite about it. Now, like I was saying, I do feel like in terms of singles, I think he probably could have fleshed out a few more hits and probably had something more that could have stretched out like the promotion value of this particular product for what it is. I mean, just looking by the album cover, you would think that this album had a lot more social kind of commercial bite about it, but it just kind of feels like an in-between type one. But it is good. This is the concept. I'm sure I would have to guess, just judging upon whether or not this album has more hits apart from that. The problem with it was I was going to review a third song on top of this, but the problem with it was the third most popular song. I was going to go with like the next most popular song on here, which was Noche de Carnaval, which I would have to say sounds like Night Carnival, something like that, if I had to guess what that was translated to in English. But the problem with it was when I listened to this song, it just didn't really have as much spice towards it as far as that pitch kind of went. I would have figured if I liked at least the singles about this product, but then there was other stuff I didn't like about it, probably would have lowered it to more of like a 7 out of 10 just within the tones. I feel like at least in terms of the promotion value of this actual project, I don't know if I was just choosing like a song that was just just if social-wise, I was choosing a song that the rest of the folks really liked, but then the rest of the album is actually pretty electric with songs more like De Fuga, I'd have to say. But I just kind of felt like I'd pretty much have to listen to further of the album to find another gem on there. But at least in terms of like the third most popular song, apart from like the 2 singles, I'd say it didn't seem as much spice. But I'm still going to give this album like a 9.5 out of 10. I'm just going to assume that there's some other quality hits on there. I'm just going to assume that there are some other quality hits on there. But yeah, 9.5. The social score I'll give an 8.5 1.5 out of 10 just within the pitch, because I look after me at least listening to Noche de Carnaval and El Amor Se Fue. I do question if whether or not this actual album is a misnomer, if it does have more songs like De Fuga as far as those pitch can have, because that's definitely pretty blistering type 1. I do like the commercial radio grab of El Amor Se Fue, but I just would have to say it just makes me question if there are further numbers, because I definitely think, just judging by the album cover, that you would think that this would be a lot more blistering type of feel, but maybe, I don't know, just within the tone behind it, just I feel like if I were to review other songs, it might lower the score just within the pitch and make question if the rest of this album may not be as boiling as I would seem it to be. It's kind of happens to be a thing, but that's the constant. So in terms of the future, like, once again, Baby Ranks has not dropped anything in a while. Apparently he dropped an album in 2019 called The Legend Is Back, but I just look after like the tone behind it, just make questioning. I do wonder if he's dropped like mixtapes or something like that, but I don't know if I just don't know if Wikipedia just doesn't know as full blown about what he's done. But I would have to say within the pitch, this is a relatively promising album. I'd have to say at least the singles do have some good bite about them and good aspects, like some social grace and just overall fun aspects just within like the glimmer of things, but just question as to how the rest of this project stacks up. But I would have to say it looks thrilling just within the aspect, and I had to suppose that it does have the jolt of energy that it needs for the most part.